today we sit on, call it $400 trillion of global debt. And if you paid back $1 trillion, $1 per second, it'd take you 32,000 odd years to pay back $1 trillion. So the debt is already insolvent, right? And let's just stop there. And if anybody so there's no possible way that the debt can be repaid back.
That's mathematical.
It's especially if technology is making things cheaper.
Right.
That would make the debt more expensive in real terms, right? So as things like the iPhone camera eradicates the need for Kodak film, things get cheaper. As technology drives things cheaper, that would technically make the debt more expensive and harder to pay back.
Right.
So it explodes in real terms.
Yeah.
So that entire system that we live in, and we measure not just social economic, we measure our lives in, our families, our everything, because we try to gain enough money to be able to live for with our families, and we measure other people by it and everything else. The entire thing is unrepayable. And we don't want to face that fact.
Right. Hard truth.
It's the hard truth. So we allow inside that system others to manipulate money at an ever-increasing rate to be able to pretend we live in a safe system.
Right.
And so, and that has to get exponentially worse.
Yeah.
Just because we won't face that fact. And no government can face that fact. And actually no person can face that fact from that system. It cannot be solved from the system. No person. You could change faces on the system, but the system is unrepairable from the system.
Right.
And so, and just think through some of the implications. Implications are, you will vote for somebody who tells you that they can give you more money for nothing. Right. You will not, if somebody told you the truth that said your real wages are going to go up, but your fiat wages are going to come down next year because you're going to get a real gain, but it means your wages are going to come down because prices are going to fall faster than your wages fall. You wouldn't vote for that person. You'd think they were crazy,
right?
Because we're so used to empowering a system that says, we'll give you more raise, we'll give you more money to you, we'll give more money to you, we'll give more, and that money comes with a massive cost.
Yeah,
that is actually making the entire world more unstable.
Yeah,
as you drive that, and it's consolidating. It's transferring all of the productivity gains that should be flowing to society into the hands of very few. And so it ends in a very dystopian world.
Right.
If you lived in a world because it ends in a dystopian world because you can't have individual rights and freedoms under a system that looks like that.
Right.
Because the system has to take them to be able to perpetrate that at an ever increasing rate.
Right.
So we believe we live in a democracy. We believe we have rule of law, but money is superordinate to rule of law. And so if money is broken, laws get changed to the favor of who accesses the money.
Yes.
And so that is the system we live in. And then what you were saying is, because of our insecurity in that system and the greater and greater insecurity in that system, we give it more power. We yell at that system. We divide from each other. We say it must be that person's fault. We want to ascribe not a system problem. We want to ascribe a person problem to that system. And we go in these small little groups that are all yelling and making the system stronger. We march on Wall Street. We say 2008, everyone marches on Wall Street. All the exact same people at the top of the social economic ladder are still in power today.
Right.
And we forget.
Right.
And it goes on, and it gets worse and worse. We have proxy wars, and same people creating them, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And we constantly lean in. And even for those that understand Bitcoin and have moved out of that system, they spend too much time out there yelling at that system, and empowering that system only makes it stronger.
Right.
Because most people don't know that we're in a system change from a system that is already insolvent. It only exists because of our willingness to allow others to manipulate money. And they get so mad at that with no fix, they yell at it. And so in fact, this ties into ego death and starting the venture company. I realized I control my time. I control all of it. I can either spend my time talking about what's bad in the world, or I can spend all of my time living in the world and building to the people building the future of the world that I want to see.
Yeah.
And my time matters.
Yeah.
And as does every single other person listening to this podcast, your time matters too.
Right.
And so you just ask yourself, if you're measuring your fiat world, trying to make more money in that world,
Yeah.
and 99% of your time is there, and then you've just taken a little bit of Bitcoin and said, hopefully it goes up.
Yeah.
What you're actually doing is reinforcing the world that you do not want to see. You're spending your time, actually 99% of your time
Right.
is reinforcing the world that's actually going to have staggering bad implications.
Through your attention and your energy and your work.
And it'll make you mad.
Yeah.
It'll make you inside that world. It's going to drive you to the same thing that is chaotic inside that world.
Right.
It's going to drive you apart from other people. And inside this new world that's emerging, that's based on truth. If you spend more time, if you actually move your time over to this new system and learn what's happening and see the opportunities in it, you'll spend your time with people who are building on truth, hope, and abundance.
Right.
And your world will change as a matter of that. In fact, I think that's actually also what creates the dichotomy that the people say Bitcoin's almost like a religion.
Right.
Because it's so profound once you start to see the people in this. You want to spend more time with really great people who are building a really great future that matters for all of us. And that can feel, to somebody who doesn't know it,
It can look religious.
It can look religious, or it can look like, what are these people? And if you're inside that world, it's also easy to not have empathy.
Sure.
For the people who've not seen it yet.
Yeah.
It's easier to it's easier to believe that you always knew it.
Right.
When 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 3 years ago, you had no idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You were exactly living in the other world, in the other reality, and you had no idea.